was the 1990s, a big show in a small town off I-75 in Georgia. They were called the biggest cocks in the henhouse. But things have changed since then. It's been 30 years, and they finally found a home here, like everyone else, doing a podcast. It's Erica and Mark, the phone call podcast thing.
Hello.
Okay. Are you calling me?
Okay. I mean, are we talking?
Yes.
Did you forget how this works?
Wait a minute. The phone rings, you pick it up, and then you say hello. And then you wait for the response.
Did you have a head injury since the last phone call?
I may have had a stroke. I have been messing around with GTP.
ChatGPT. So
is it GPT
ChatGPT
or GTP?
It's GTP if you're dyslexic. It's ChatGPT if you can read correctly. So
I might have the wrong one. I might have
ChatGPT. Yeah. You know how I can tell that you've been using the chat is you've forgotten how to answer the phone. Now you've embraced AI and you got AI doing everything but wipe your ass for you. Is that about right?
Yes. And I'm too busy yelling, hey, you, do this.
Hey, what's your name? Chat. Does she get condescending with you? First of all, do you have a male voice or a female voice?
Well, first, it's through when I'm using it on the Mac, it's using Siri's voice.
Okay.
So it's a female voice. But I did notice one thing. It did get tired of me.
Oh, it got tired. Oh, it's very relatable, ChatGPT / Siri. How do you know it was getting tired of you? What did it do?
Well, I was trying to, you know this because you actually helped me out, but I was trying, for those that don't know, I was trying to make a logo for my new recovery radio station that I'm working on.
Oh, right.
So I got it started.
I had to make for you.
And I go, hey, Siri, can I do the, first of all, I said ChatGPT or whatever. I said, hey, you, ChatGTP, will you do something for me? And then Siri came on and says, hi, this is Siri. What do you need, actually? Or whatever, And I said, okay. So I said, okay, this is what I'm trying to do, a logo, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, oh, yes, you'll need to use ChatGTP. So, right, or GPT. So I said, okay. So we start going. And, it's not perfect yet, obviously. Or at least the version that I have that's free is not perfect. Because
you got the senior citizen
things.
Version. It's not too difficult. That's what you got.
So I'm saying, well, do you mind? Can we just spell that word right first, and then so then it got so mad that it started giving me these obscure, crazy logos with every word misspelled. And numbers all over the place because it was basically Serenity Cast. Recovery and whatever. Now I don't even remember what it is now. Anyway, I had all these things in there, and it said that it started giving me like bats, and then it gave me like skulls and crossbones,
right,
in the logo and stuff. So finally said, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it basically said, you've overstayed your welcome. Let's try again tomorrow.
So you went through all of your free ChatGPT.
Is that what it was? Just account. On one logo?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, you only get so many questions per day when you have a free account. I have the $20 a month account, and sometimes it'll tell me, hey, you need to wait 5 minutes before you talk to me again because you're overloading the system. And I get suspended for 5. It happened to me when I was trying to make your recovery logo. It kept screwing that up.
It wouldn't be asking so many questions if they just spelled the words right.
No, I think that ChatGPT knew that you were trying to do this, and then you sent me the logo, and I uploaded it to ChatGPT and said, hey, make it this, and it started screwing it all up, and I was like, it knows that this came from Mark, and it's pissed at Mark.
We've already heard this guy's dog and pony show.
Yeah, now Mark's got somebody helping, and we're not happy about that.
What I like is, when I have to ask you to do something and I'm embarrassed, but I like doing it through chat, through the text, because that way I don't get the way I hear you say would you like me to fix it for you? It just sounds like you're saying, oh, come on, pal. I'll take care of this for you.
All right, here, listen.
So what did you really say?
Listen, here's all you need to know about how to use ChatGPT with Siri. This is going to make both of our computers go off if I say it, but you say, hey, S word, use ChatGPT to, and then just give it the command. You got to say, hey, S word, use ChatGPT, and then have the command.
Right.
Like, hey, Siri, use ChatGPT to tell me how many miles per hour 317 kilometers per hour is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it sometimes will say it, or it will just delay it as my phone is.
317 kilometers per hour is approximately 196.97 miles per hour. That was from ChatGPT.
Okay.
Check important info for mistakes.
I think I got Black Siri. She sounds like she should be in a backup band for the Black Crows or something. I think I got like Black Girl Siri. I probably should change that before I get in trouble. Need to be.
I gotta stop.
I don't need to
I
be.
can't
I don't need to be accused of. I don't want to be accused of anything inappropriate with having a Black Girl Siri.
I don't bring anything up.
Right. So it's best to just move on from this topic at this time, if we could. Thank you very much.
So I understand you've been working. Well, you gave up on drones now. Is that what it is? You no more drone business?
Oh no, the drones are still happening, but there's
is it still happening because they're not talking about it anymore online?
This is all right. So I found this great YouTube channel that's only got about 115,000 subscribers. Great production values. The guy is very interesting to listen to. He's got a good microphone, a good little set. He does everything by himself. It's a very high quality production, and he's not one of these conspiracy paranoid. The world is coming to an end.
Right.
He does everything. He just kind of talks through what a lot of these stories are, and he also goes through some emails that he gets from anonymous sources, and he reads the emails, and he's very honest. He doesn't leave any details out. One of the emails that I just read, or that he just read to me while I was trying to work today, where he said this guy claims to work at a lab in Maryland where they are in charge of basically doing autopsies on little dead gray aliens and finding out how they work.
Wait a minute. Let's take a real quick break, and then we'll get into this. This way we don't have to stop in the middle of it.
All right. You might want to stop me in the middle of it because this is going to scare you.
Okay.
You're not going to like it.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
All right. So we're back, and this channel is called Area 52 on YouTube. So write that down. That'll be another thing that I tell you to do that you never do. Yeah. And this guy he will speculate, and he'll say, he'll be like, so what this could mean is, and his speculation is, it comes from a very educated place. He's not just a crazy guy. He's like, okay, what this means is these are actually, he's like, all right, so if you kind of put two and two together here, it kind of sounds like it might be this. He makes very educated speculatory comments.
Okay.
When he's not just presenting the material that he has in front of him. And he's really good for somebody who's kind of new to the topic. If you want to, get like a quick history of UAPs, or what people used to call UFOs, he has a really good hour-long presentation where he talks about the things that started happening back in the 1930s and especially the 40s after the crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And then he goes for the 50s with Truman and Eisenhower, and talks about the Majestic 12 and about how, did you know that there were UAPs all over Washington, D.C., and that something landed on the National Mall in 1954?
I had heard that story. I don't remember where I heard it because I used to like
it. Was all over the newspapers and the radio.
Yeah.
It was a huge story back then. But the federal government apparently got together and met with these things and did their best to kind of squash that ever happened. It's not really in a whole lot of historical archives. You got to go look for it. It's out there. It happened.
Well, I noticed they put things on the newspaper, but then it turned around and it either the story gets pulled or it gets changed
It gets changed, or it just gets kind of if you go look for it, you can find it. But it's something that someone or some group has done their best to kind of suppress and get rid of as much as they possibly can. It's one of those things you don't really talk about. It's kind of the same stuff that's happening right now, only this time it was happening in the 1950s in Washington, D.C., where you can't even fly an airplane. Even in the 50s, you couldn't fly an airplane over the White House in Washington. Right. And there's just lights all over the city, floating all over the city and landing near the White House. And that's just a thing that happened, and no one talks about it or cares. And that's the same thing that's happening with the big UAP story from a month ago that was happening in New Jersey. And it wasn't just happening in New Jersey. It was happening all over the place. If you watch different YouTube channels, or if you go to Reddit, go to some pilot threads, go read some subs that pilots talk about on Reddit. And you'll have recordings of air traffic control talking to these professional aviators who fly for Delta and Alaska and, an air ambulance. And these guys are credible professional pilots who are saying, yeah, I don't know what that is. That shouldn't be able to do that. But you guys got anything on the radar? No, we don't have anything on the radar. So just, you got any video of that? Text that to me. I'll get you my phone number. Wow. The air traffic control guys are just as curious as the pilots are as to what this stuff is. But again, it all just kind of goes away because of humans having their faces buried in their goddamn phones, their attention spans like a butterfly now. So no one cares.
No, I honestly, I remember when I was a kid, I remember a lot of things like dinosaurs, UFOs. I can remember when I was a kid with UFOs. I can remember when I saw something somewhere. I don't remember if it was
Were you doing drugs at this time, or is this before
drugs?
No,
this was just before dope. This was like when I was in middle school, maybe elementary school, and get out there in the backyard at night. And
you're just like laying up there looking at the stars, pondering.
Staring at the stars, just like, where can I see one? You know what I mean? Like, can I see something?
You can see satellites.
I never
even
saw
back then.
anything. Never.
You never saw satellites up in the dark sky?
I think so. Maybe those like blinking. I always thought they were. I never really realized. So I have this in my head when I was younger. I had an idea that space was like really, really. You need a rocket to get to it. It's very far away. So I'm not going to be able to see it. But it's really weird. The darker it gets, the more you can actually see the actual night sky. It's got a lot going on up there, period. And I just remember being like, that was anything that could get my hands on that had to do with that kind of stuff. I wanted to know about it. And
yeah, I think a lot of kids are like that. When you're a kid and you start looking up at that big infinite sky with all those stars, it's, that's when you get your first taste of existentialism and like, what is all this about? What am I doing here? And that's kind of what the Area 52 channel has. They have a great episode that I watched yesterday or the day before that kind of touches on why we're all here and what we might all be that they've gotten from the information from some of these gray quote aliens. Mm-hmm. And you're not gonna like it because it's got a lot to do with religions and how those were created by those guys, and they created the religions. Bob Lazar was the guy who was talking about it. They played a clip of Bob Lazar, the Area 51 scientist who got fired and exposed everything that they're doing out there in S4 out at in Nevada. And Bob Lazar, he came out and said it. He said, my wife's the one that made me realize that maybe Jesus was an alien. Think about it. When Mary was pregnant with the Son of God, she was followed by a bright star. Well, what is a bright star? That's a UAP that's hanging in the sky. Maybe she was impregnated by these aliens with a super being that was there to do all these tricks to, basically give people stories to invent a religion around. And that would help them legislate morality a little bit. And it would give humans something else to focus on besides the truth of what we really are, which is far too dark for people to widely know. And the truth is apparently that we're all these they call us containers. They don't want us to damage the containers. And the soul that we think we have is not what we think it is. We think that we're this eternal being that possesses this individual soul. And maybe we go from lifetime to lifetime. We probably do go from lifetime to lifetime, but it seems like we're stuck in a loop of forced reincarnation. And that these aliens are using the energy that we have as food or a treat, like, maybe we're the fine wine of these aliens, and they take the negative feelings that we get, and that's their food somehow, and that's what they keep. They're farming us to reincarnate us just to sustain themselves somehow, because they don't have the capability to have emotions and feelings, and that's really all life is.
It's just kind of interesting that you I see your eyes lit up, but then you just poo-poo the fact of creation. It's crazy. It's just so funny. It's like, it's like you can't believe this, but you can believe this.
But this is just a theory. So I don't know I don't know if I believe that. I don't want to believe that. I heard on Art Bell back in the 90s a very similar story. There was a guy who had a near-death experience who was talking about when he went to this place that there were UFOs hanging up in the sky and like low-hanging clouds and lightning bolts just zapping random people that were standing there in that crowd, and that was them feeding on the people who were there until they got reincarnated. I don't know. It was a very bleak thing that this guy talked about, and I heard that story. It's got to be 30 years ago now, and I've been hearing it again lately, and it's just depressing, and I hope it's not true, but it kind of makes sense if you step back and you try to be objective about it.
Yeah, I was always thought that, like a lot of people say, to me, it's like, how can you, some people actually, some religious people actually don't believe in dinosaurs and things like that, but it's like,
I know those people are hilarious. Yeah,
it always makes me,
or that men were living in harmony with the dinosaurs 5,000 years ago. It's like, they were riding dinosaurs like horses.
I look at it this way: if you believe in an infinite God, right, which I do, then how can I just box him into just this little small thing of helping people and doing all? I'm sure he does that, but I'm sure the
that's
box
just
is
it.
a lot wider than I can think. Do you know what I mean?
Get to use your imagination and make it whatever you want. So that's the other thing that was depressing about what these guys were talking about, is that we're not these creative individual souls who get to take our personality with us when we go back to where we're really from, where it's just this kind of collective ball of energy, and we don't have the passions and the experience. We don't. The truth that you don't take it with you, apparently that's true. You don't take it with you. You just kind of go back to this blob of existence until you get to come back here and have adventures and do things and eat the food and listen to music and smell the rain.
Yeah, because that's always one of the biggest fights I would have with people, or didn't not really fight with them, but understand their philosophy that only planet Earth, which literally, have you ever heard of a scientist called what's his last name? I can't remember his first name, but Giglio, I think was his name. He's a scientist, but he's also a Christian, and what he does is he talks about his basic thing by the time he's all done is how small you really are in compared to the grand scope of things. Like this big sun that we think is so huge, it's one of the smallest suns in the in the whole
in the known universe. Yes,
and that this is only the Milky Way is only one galaxy, and we're one solar system in that galaxy, and there's multiple things that and we can, now that the satellites keep going out and going further and further and getting pictures, it's just unbelievable how much stuff.
So, well, you're talking about so he's talking about string theory, or think of existence as a grapevine. It's an eternal grapevine, and on each bunch of grapes is individual grapes. You have the individual and in each one of those individual grapes is a galaxy that is too big to comprehend, and that's what existence is.
And his thing was, that how can you possibly if you truly believe he created this, then who created all that out there? You would still think, well, that's him. So out of all this creation, there's only one planet.
Well, and that's kind of what these little gray guys are doing. They're kind of looking for their place and trying to understand everything as well. And they don't really have any emotions or feelings. They look like they were engineered. When they started dissecting these things, they have lungs that are very similar to birds. They're much more efficient. They have 3 or 4 fingers. They have a thumb and 3 fingers. They have 2 big toes, but they thought that they were just 2 toes, but there are technically 4 toes. It's just the 2 are kind of grown together in like a V shape. There's 2 sets of bones inside of 1 toe.
Okay.
And the way that these things are designed, they seem to be very efficient, and they have some kind of a cerebral implant that looks like it was maybe put there or grown on them. I mean, they're fascinating little individuals. They don't seem to have any compassion or feelings. And then you gotta wonder, okay, so if these little gray aliens that everybody sees with the big eyes were created by something, well, who created those? Did AI make those? Did another race of aliens make those? Are these just the drones for something else? And if so, well, what's that? Where are they? What do they do? And there's just
too many
just
questions
so many questions.
And there's a lot of smart people out there, but they're still not that smart. I mean, that requires, I don't even know.
We don't know anything.
Yeah. So I
admit it. I don't know anything. I know a bunch of crazy theories. That's all I know, that I try not to dwell on too much, because I got,
and all I know is my beliefs, and that's it. And that's for what it's worth. It's just that. It's my beliefs. That's all. So
sure.
But
exactly. You get to do whatever you want. If you want to believe things, go ahead and believe them. You're free to do.
It's kind of insane how these things there's something there, and that's the part that gets me. And I try not to let myself get too deep or too scared or too worried about things, because it's
that's what religion is good for. Because what if we are just kind of out here floating as a happy accident or some alien's creation? That's a little more terrifying. It's nice to have that warm fuzzy feeling of hey, some big guy somewhere is looking out for me, man. That's a little more comforting. Or when I die, I'm going to be all right. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, when you die, you are going to be all right. It doesn't matter if you're a murderer or a saint. You're all going to the same place.
Well, that's
a little depressing for most people to comprehend, and I don't want to really think about that either, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but hey,
no one does.
Yeah, no, you don't know until it's too late to tell anybody.
Right. Right, exactly. And hey, and if you want to argue, isn't your God an all-forgiving God? So why wouldn't heaven be populated with murderers and rapists?
Well, some would say that if you were truly sorry and not proud.
What if death brings you? Well, hold on. What if death brings you clarity and it's like, oh, of course I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm an asshole. I killed all those people. I'm Jeffrey Dahmer.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
Hey, this is a dangerous time of year for you recovery guys, isn't it? Because isn't National Quitting Day coming up?
Yes.
And that's what everybody's going to quit drinking.
We're recording this on January 9th, and tomorrow is actually National Quitters Day.
That's when everybody quits. Quits the program, goes back to the party.
Quits everything.
Quits
anything.
People who go to the gym, they can start going back to the gym now, because people are gonna, the gym's not gonna be crowded anymore.
Well, yeah, because people. Well, let's take a quick break, because I actually got some stuff written down about this. Thought it was kind of fun.
I have questions. I've never been to an AA meeting. I have questions.
Okay. It's 25.
I need water. I need a drink. I can't say that in front of you, though. I'm sorry.
No, you can't.
I meant water.
Yeah, I know people that drink. My wife drinks. She drinks wine.
Yeah, it's delicious. Jesus made wine. That's fine.
Yeah, she can. Well, she's one of those people can actually have a drink and be okay. I'm one of those that like to go into binge.
You've got what doctors call an allergy to the fire water.
Yes.
Are we back? Did we come back or are
I
we not back?
think we did accidentally come back.
Now I'm not paying attention. I'm like you at the beginning. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Oh my God, I got another birthday coming up in like 3 months. I forgot about that.
Well, it is National Quitters Day tomorrow, the 10th, and then by the time this show airs, the average person, about a third of the people that made a New Year's resolution, January or December 31st or January 1st, they started something, they have already quit.
Oh, well, good for them. I mean, or bad for them?
I don't know, because I don't, I used to think that was important because it's something I think I read somewhere it was done. It's been going for like the last 4,000 years. I think it started in Babylonia, which we know what happened to that.
National Quitters Day's been going on for 4,000 years?
Yeah, no, actually, New Year's resolutions. In the beginning of of course, their calendar was, what was it, March?
The pagans used to have New Year's Day on April 1st.
Yes. So the end of the beginning of the year, they would say, well, this year I'm going to accomplish this.
I see.
And then within 2 weeks, they're like, I don't want to do this. And I found, same thing too. It's like I tried that where I would use it. First of all, when I'm thinking about it in October, going, I really need to watch this. The minute I say I'm going to start that January 1st, I've already quit the first time. Think about it.
Yeah,
really.
if you're going to do something, do it.
You got to do it then, and when it comes to AA says, the minute you stop drinking that first time and you decide to become sober, it's 90 meetings, 90 days. So for 90 days, you hit 90 meetings, a meeting a day for 90 days, because by that time, the meeting becomes a habit and you got a support system to keep you from going. Now, a lot of people come in and out. I'm in Celebrate Recovery now, but I actually, I don't know what you're going to call it, facilitate, I guess, the chemical dependency room. So drugs and alcoholics. And I have people come in and I'll see them for a good 2 weeks in a row. So do you get like a rush of people at the beginning of the year after the holidays? Actually, this was our first meeting yesterday. Was our first meeting since that was the first meeting we had actually was December 31st. It was actually on New Year's Eve because our meetings are on Tuesday. And we just had a meal. There was about 25 people there and nobody knew. But yesterday was our first full meeting. And I actually had a young guy. I don't remember how old he was. Young, though. Probably maybe in his early 20s.
Oh, yeah.
And problem with drinking. And he just said he was told.
Hey, look, man, we all had a problem with drinking in our early 20s. If you didn't, you're lying. This guy's quitting already?
And he sat through what they call large group, which is, where you have your testimonies and lessons and things like that. And I said, well, I'm going to go off to my room, so I guess I'll see you next week or something. Trying to give him an out instead of trying to pull him in, like, you need to come to this.
Yeah.
And he goes, I think I want to stay. I said, okay, cool. And that was pretty cool. So we got, one is a win, man, for me, But I have people that are there and they'll come for 2 weeks and then they'll be gone for like a month and they come in again with head hang low. And it's like, you just got to I used to frustrate me because it's like, you already quit once or you already quit 12 times. Then I had to remind myself, how many times did I quit? My big one was smoking. How many times I quit smoking? You knew me a couple of times when I quit smoking.
Oh, yeah. You were miserable.
Yeah. And I come back to it again. So it's like, it just happens. So eventually you get to the point where you're, another cliche that we use is sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And then you decide that that's it. I want to do it, but it's odd. It's odd. But
so the hardest thing that I've ever quit is, don't laugh, drinking Coca-Cola, drinking cherry Coke.
It's all legitimate.
I freaking love cherry Coke. I love it with
Was it
breakfast.
the sugar or just the taste or just everything?
It was the cracking open the can. It was that first drink of it. It was like smoking.
Well, you're not a big sweet eater anyway. You're not one, like, I'll have a dessert before you will. You'll have one maybe.
I used to be really bad with sweets and desserts, and I still have a little. I buy those little mini ice cream cones, and I eat the little mini ice cream cones when I have a little
just
a little
one,
bit of
right?
a sweet tooth.
Or do you eat the six of them?
No, just one. I've got packs of 10 in there, and I can't tell you how tempted I am to after I eat one to say I could eat like 4 more of those.
Yeah.
But I
was going to say, because that's me with the mini things. I'll just eat the whole box.
Yeah. Nope. I have self-control because I know that if I sit there and think about it for a minute, it's like, all right, this will pass if I don't get my ass out of the chair. And it does. But I know this about myself. So as long as I don't get out of that chair, I'm good. But lately I have been thinking, I could drink a Coke. Next time I go to Chick-fil-A, maybe I'll get a cherry Coke. I enjoy the Chick-fil-A cherry Coke. The Lord makes a wonderful cherry Coke with that crushed ice and that styrofoam cup. Oh, the Lord's Chicken Store, they know how to do it, dude.
Well, see this right here. You see what I've been drinking today? See what it is?
What is
Zero
that?
sugar,
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry, yeah. And this is the first soda I've had. I want to make sure I want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
This is the first soda I've had this year so far.
Well, all right. So you made it in 9 days.
So I normally I treat a soda like it's a treat.
That's how I treat Celsius. So I like Celsius. When I know
Celsius?
that I got a lot of
that. What is that?
Oh, it's an energy drink. It's the only carbonated thing that I'm allowing myself to drink for the last 5 years. But it's not great for you, but it's not going to kill you if you just drink them sporadically. And I was drinking 1 or 2 of them a week for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then when I quit drinking Coke, I kind of cut back on those. I didn't really have any, except when I was like, oh, I'm dragging ass. I need a Celsius. I run into the 7-Eleven and grab an orange or a wild berry Celsius and drink that. Now I'm awake. I'm good for the rest of the day. It's like a little shot of cocaine, but if it spread itself out over 8 hours. That's the best way to describe Celsius. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I've only had only energy drink I've ever had was one time I decided I was going to treat myself to a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, I used to love those when we lived in Georgia.
So it was Jaeger and Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
So all I did was I was drunk and I was shaking.
Shot. Yeah, you take a whole shot. You take a shot glass full of Jaeger, then you take a half of like a beer glass full of Red Bull, and then you just drop the shot glass in there, and then you chug it. You just chug the whole thing.
I'm gonna tell you, I've had some speedy times. I remember having a couple of yellow jackets before. Mm-hmm. I remember doing an 8-ball Coke with some a handful of people all night long.
Dude, I had a doctor tell me, she's like, you shouldn't drink Jaeger bombs. And I said, why? And she said, those affect your neural receptors the same as cocaine. You're going to get addicted to that stuff. And I'm like, that's why it's so good. Okay, that makes sense.
I felt like I was like, that was the weirdest high I ever drunk. Because normally... Well, I think what it freaked me out was because I was dry then. I wasn't doing drugs anymore. I was off of drugs, not dry, but I was clean from drugs. And I think it reminded me of that feeling of drinking and partying. And it just really freaked me out, man. Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. That's
now
why
my son will drink those. What do you call it? Drinks those. What do you call those?
White Claws?
No, when you go up to a convenience store and you get ready to pay, they got these little bottles.
Oh, those little energy shots, those little 5-hour energy drinks.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know, man. I'm too scared to try that.
He thinks they're the greatest thing. When he's traveling, that's what he likes. Yeah. I'm almost it's like, no, it can't be.
Yeah, that's
good.
like it's just pure store. It's pure concentrated caffeine is really
is that what it
is?
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
it's just like sugar and caffeine.
I think most of these kids,
it's like a shot.
If you're in your 30s, you're probably going to be setting yourself up for heart issues later on.
I always tell everybody, party your ass off if you want to when you're in your 20s. But if you don't slow down after you turn 27, I'm not saying stop.
Right.
Slow down after you turn 27. And then by the time you turn 30, you're 2 drinks and done. That's it.
Yeah.
No more. Done. I'm not telling you to quit drinking or quit partying. You could still have a couple drinks, but 1 or 2 drinks, done. Don't drink more than 2. I don't care how much you want to. I don't care where you are.
No, you're
and drink a bottle of water between drinks, even if it's beer. Drink a bottle of water between 2 beers. You will have a much better time and get way less DUIs.
Yes, they're expensive.
That's the other thing. They're like 10, 12 grand now.
Holy cow!
Out of your
I
pocket.
knew they were expensive,
And they make you go to those stupid meetings. Not stupid meetings. What did I say?
I know. Hey, listen, I know all about paper. When I get somebody on paper, I'm proud if I see them after the paper's done.
Yeah.
I know they took it seriously, but I have to sign those things.
Oh my God, I'm scared to death if I ever get a DUI.
I sign
They're
those
going to
things.
make me go to AA meetings. Like, well, isn't coming here you got to believe in God and otherwise you can't do it? Do you have one for people that can't do that part? Because, I mean, I can sit here and lie to you if you want. Do you want me to lie to everybody and waste everyone's time? Because I will.
Well, AA was, when Bill W, he wanted you to be sober first, and then we can discuss everything else. But we got to get you sober first. And sobriety is just clear thinking. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to, there's a joke, or I think it's not really a joke, but I've heard people say, no good story ever started with, I had this salad.
Ain't that the truth, man?
So, if you can think about anything that you might have done that you're a little embarrassed about, you can almost guarantee alcohol was involved somehow.
No, man. I have.
You're going to embarrass your story without alcohol?
No, dude, my superpower still is driving the bus over the cliff sober as a judge. I can embarrass myself or anybody. I'm probably doing it right now and don't even know.
Well, I don't mean that, but I'm just talking about like a really, like when something you look back and go, man, it was a really bad call.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm like, why the hell?
You know how many women?
That? What's
how many
wrong
women
with me?
I can that I shouldn't even shook their hand.
I don't know how you have kids, honestly. I don't know how. You're lucky.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
You got 2 people to marry you.
Yeah, I did.
That's double what I did. That's how bad I am.
Well, you'll get your chance for your second run.
No. I'm very much enjoying. I've had kidney stones twice. Worst pain ever. Right.
Right.
You know what hurts? You know what hurts worse than a kidney stone is a broken heart. So I would much rather have a couple more kidney stones than one more taste of a broken heart.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
even a not so great marriage still feels bad when it separates. It still doesn't.
It does.
Feel
Oh
good.
my God! Anybody who gets divorced that isn't sad about it being done, no matter how bad it was or what happened, I have to look at that person and say, I'm a little worried about you.
Because they're hyper focused on the negative, and it's probably blaming on everybody else but them. That's hard.
But the whole. Dude, I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst. No. Breaking news today. It's probably out by now, but Richard Hammond from Top Gear, the little cute guy, he announced today that he and his wife of 25 years are splitting.
Top Gear. I've never seen that show.
Oh my God, it's like you live in a cave.
Is it on the Netflix?
Things I tell you.
Is it on the Netflix?
It's not. No, it's not. It's on. It's actually on Amazon Prime. All the old episodes are on Amazon Prime.
I do have Amazon Prime. Yeah.
So my sister doesn't know shit about cars. A car to her is like a refrigerator. It's a thing that does things for you.
Yeah.
So she watched a couple episodes of Top Gear with me when she was staying with me some years ago, and she was like, "Are there more of these?" And I'm like, "There are a lot more of these." She's like, "These guys are really funny. It's not just about cars. It's about the 3 guys together and the adventures they have and do you like dry British humor?"
Yes.
Then that's what Top Gear is. Top Gear is dry British. It's 3 old guys doing stupid things together is what the name of the show is, but that was too long, so they called it Top Gear. And the 3 guys are all genuinely friends. They do nothing but pick on each other. And, it's one of those, hey, you can't say that about my friend. Only I can say that about my friend. It's one of those kind of shows. It's the camaraderie that you will find between these 3 in these shows, combined with the tremendous production values they have, the way that they film it and edit it. They spent so much money. It's beautiful. It's a beautifully done show. But go watch the first, I don't know, 10 or 15 seasons with Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond and Captain Slow, and you'll
How many
see
years
that,
has it been on? 15 seasons.
They started doing that show probably in the early 2000s, and they blew it up themselves probably 10 years ago, probably the early teens.
Yeah.
Jeremy, the main guy on the show, he got into a fight with one of the producers and punched him in the face.
Oh, wow.
and it became well, he was drunk, in all fairness to him.
Well, there you go. It wasn't a sellout.
Yeah.
I knew that.
And he's also known this guy since they were children. So it's not like they haven't fought before. They have absolutely fought before. It's just this time I think it happened in public, and the BBC was embarrassed by it, so they ended up firing him from the show. But I think that they did it on purpose so that they could go do their own thing and keep all the money, and then Amazon paid them, hundreds of millions of dollars to do the same show on Amazon and call it something different. But it's an epic show. They do these epic trips. One of the best things I've ever seen on television is when Top Gear did a special where they traveled from South Vietnam all the way to the tip of North Vietnam. And Jeremy's the cranky old guy who does nothing but drink and smoke and doesn't want to do anything that's not comfortable. And he gets there and they tell him, he's like, all right, we're in this beautiful country, and what are we driving? I suppose I'm going to have a nice Jaguar to drive. And they're like, no, we're going to be on motorcycles. And he's like, I don't ride motorcycles. And it rains in this country every 15 minutes. It rains here. We're in the tropics. What do you mean we're going to on motorcycle? Well, for you, you're going to get this moped scooter. And the little guy's going to be on this old motorcycle that's going to quit as soon as it rains every time. And the other guy's on another crappy motorcycle. And you're going to have to ride 1,100 miles from the south end of Vietnam to the north end of Vietnam. Oh, wow. And he's like, I'm not doing it. I don't know how to ride these things. No, I don't want to do it. And the first day, he crashes and legitimately hurts himself.
Oh, wow.
You have to watch this show. That's the first show I want you to watch. I want you to go find the Top Gear special of Vietnam on Amazon Prime, and I want you to watch that one. And if that doesn't hook you into going and watching all the shows, then I don't know what will. They also have another segment when they're back in their studio in the UK where they have famous people come by and they drive a piece of crap car around the Top Gear test track, and they have a secret racing driver. Nobody knows his identity. All they know is he's called the Stig, and the Stig coaches everybody from, Tom Cruise to pop stars that you haven't heard of that are from the UK or from Europe.
Right.
And they drive around this racetrack that's an old airfield, an old Army airfield from World War II. And they drive like a Kia or a Hyundai or whatever it's called Star in a Reasonably Priced Car. And they all compete. They'll have Formula One drivers show up and do it. And then the next week they'll have somebody who was in Lord of the Rings who can't drive stick shift. And it's a very fun show. It's just a fun show.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to actually. I have that, so I'm surprised nothing like that's popped up on my thing because we watch a lot of British TV.
Oh, my brother in his last days when he couldn't do a whole lot. That's all he was doing. He was sitting there in front of his TV when he wasn't sleeping, just watching reruns of Top Gear. 'Cause it's the best thing ever.
I'll have to give it a shot. I will have to definitely give it a shot.
Do it. Look for the Vietnam special, and it's probably an hour, a little over an hour long. Maybe it might be longer. I don't know. But the shit that those guys do, and the things that they see, and the people that they meet, and they have a habit of pranking each other, where they give each other stupid gifts, and one of them gets a big model sailboat. He's like, here you go. Here's your souvenir I got you. You've gotten me a sailboat. How am I going to get that on my motorcycle? Well, that's not my problem, is it? But you better do it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's the
That's
pranks
funny.
they play on each other are legendary. It's a very fun show. It's a very fun, wholesome, hilarious show to watch. I would watch this with little kids. That's how wholesome it is. It's really good. It's about friendship more than anything.
All right. Well, I got to watch that. Just give it a shot anyway.
Yeah.
and see.
That's all I got, man. I got nothing else going on. I'm kind of hungry. I didn't. I had spaghetti at 9:30 this morning because I was hungry and I didn't want to go get breakfast.
Well, it's about time. We go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah, this is one of the nice things about not being in a relationship. If you want to make spaghetti at 9:30 in the morning, nobody's going to look at you like you're a crazy person and say, "What the hell are you making spaghetti for at 9:30 in the morning?"
Oh, I see that all the time. My wife will eat the most random. She'll have a salad in the morning for breakfast.
I salute her salad choices.
Whatever she feels like eating, she eats. It's like normal breakfast is for her would be probably. The thing I seen that was the closest being normal was a waffle with powdered sugar and blueberries on it.
You sure that was powdered sugar? Yeah, you would know.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's the closest I've seen to a breakfast. Other than that, I've seen her eat cold pizza. I've seen her eat seen her eat leftover steak cold.
You know what? This is going to sound crazy. You know what I want right now? And this is going to sound crazy coming from me, and you're not going to believe it, but it's true. I love the salads that they have at Carrabba's. I want a side salad from Carrabba's, a Caesar salad with extra Caesar sauce.
Wait a second. That is weird for you. You are a non-vegetarian.
I like a good salad, and Carrabba's has a good salad. And coincidentally, there's a Carrabba's about a mile from where I live. I can literally call them right now and say, "Hey, make me a salad. Put a bunch of extra dressing in there for me. Make it extra unhealthy and fattening."
Take the bike over
and
there.
That's all I need. So this is why I like a salad later in the day. Because I know that I have to sleep at some point, and I can't eat anything anymore if I don't want to sleep in my chair. Because I have acid reflux. And if I eat anything that's going to be questionable, and I have come to accept this about myself, and I've decided not to fight it. I've decided not to suck it up and use pills and eat fistfuls of Tums and antacids. I just eat better at night. But I eat whatever the hell I want during the day.
That's dangerous. You better watch that.
That's one of the reasons I had spaghetti at 9:30 in the morning. I'm like, this can't possibly come back to haunt me later. This is a great idea.
So it doesn't bother you after you eat. It's just when you're laying flat.
Yes, if I had spaghetti at 6 o'clock at night, there's no way I'm going to bed. I'm going to chair.
The salad doesn't bother you though, huh?
No,
even with the Caesar
salad
dressing?
Be fine.
No,
salad would be fine. I could have a piece of fried chicken and be fine. But red sauce is my kryptonite. And it's also my favorite thing.
Yeah, I was going to say
coincidentally.
I would start crying if I had to leave red sauce.
Yeah, same thing with hot sauce. I like to look at food as kind of a sauce delivery system. And I have this hot sauce from Hoff's. It's a place in Chattanooga that I found that makes this amazing hot sauce. And I put it on chicken. I put it on freaking macaroni and cheese because it's just so good. But if I eat that shit after 6 o'clock at night, back to the chair.
That's so
getting
crazy.
up, you're sitting in the chair, or you're going to chew a bunch of Gaviscon. They're going to bubble in your stomach and make you uncomfortable. This is 57. That's the name of my biography right now. This is 57.
All right, my friend. Go get a salad. Ride your bike there.
It's kind of dark, but and it's also, dude, it's like 50 degrees. It's freezing in Florida.
50.
Can't ride my bike in 50 degrees. I'll freeze my ass off.
What are we here? You're at 50. We're supposed to rain tonight, and then we're not going to get any ice, but north of us, we're going to get ice.
Yeah. There's a big storm in the southeast that's going to be north of you. Yeah.
It's 45 right now.
They're going to get a lot of snow in northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, I saw that. Memphis, Tennessee, Arkansas. Actually, they're worried about the Ohio State-Texas game because they're playing it at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, and it's snowing there. They have winter storm conditions there.
Right.
When you in the South, I'm going to tell you, you know how bad people drive down there in the rain. Here, if it's got a little bit of snow or whatever, and ice, forget about it.
Oh, I know. Man, planet's trying to kill us everywhere. There's $50 billion of damage in Los Angeles right now, and the fires are still going. The LA fires right now are already the most expensive natural disaster in American history. Over $50 billion is the early estimate, going to go up from there.
Oh, yeah, those houses over there. They're all rich people over there.
Pacific Palisades is gone. Just gone. I mean, I've been to Pacific Palisades, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in Pacific Palisades, which is it's right up by Malibu. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage house in the neighborhood with no yard is $6 million. If you buy a bigger house in Pacific Palisades, it's more. And
oh my gosh.
Those are all gone. That whole neighborhood is gone. Malibu, a big part of Malibu is gone. All those multi-million dollar homes are just burned to the ground. It's just awful. I don't want to think about all the cars that have been lost. I've already seen some Porsches that have been burned to the ground. And all right, I'm going to go get a salad and a drink. Mark, you have a great week, and I'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
No quitting.
No quitting tomorrow. Don't quit eating red sauce.
Although you've probably already quit listening to this podcast, and I wouldn't blame you.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.